Anyone who knows me knows I love music, and I take it pretty serious. I built this speaker you see here and a matching one on the other side. There's a couple subwoofers down here you can just see the tops of. With the help of a couple friends, I built those. I arranged my office so that my chair is in the prime listening spot, right in the middle of those, and I end a lot of days just listening to music. Again, I really like it, and I think God's people have always liked music and realized, and God realizes how important it is. That's why an entire book of the Bible is the hymn book of the Old Testament. I'm talking about the book of Psalms. In one sense, you could consider it the original Christian music channel. Well, I hope you like this video over a psalm, and if so, then if you do me a favor and click the thumbs up, leave a comment, I always love that, and or share it on a social media site like Facebook, that would be a huge help. Thanks a lot. Are you a roller coaster fan? Most people I know either really like them or really don't. And the good news is if you don't like a roller coaster, well, you don't have to ride it. But we often talk about life as being a roller coaster ride, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I don't know anyone who likes that type of roller coaster ride, but the bad news is we can't choose to stay off of it. We find ourselves on it many times in life, and it's not something that's just unique to us in our generation. You can go back long before the days of roller coasters. Everyone has experienced this. It's what came to mind as I read Psalms 42 and 43, two Psalms that most people think are sort of part one and part two. They go together. And you read this, and I think we can identify with it. And because of that, it can help us as we're in that situation, to help us through that situation. Look what it says here, and look at the ups and downs that the author of this, and it's written by the sons of Korah. We don't know a lot about them, but we can sure identify with what they're going through. Verse 1, as a deer pants for flowing streams, so pants my soul for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. This idea of needing God like a deer needs water, not like a camel that can go for a long time, but that thirst isn't being met. When shall I come and appear before God? We don't know what their situation was. They might have been physically separated from the tabernacle, from the place of worship at that time. But certainly they also weren't feeling God's presence as we go through and see this. My tears have been my food day and night. Have you ever had a time where things were so stressful you didn't even eat, you didn't have an appetite? Your only food were the tears that were coming down your cheeks. Well, then in verse 5, why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you in turmoil within me? And they're not saying, I just can't remember why it is I'm feeling down. No, they're starting to come back. Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God. They realize I can get back to that place. They're starting to come back around even then. Verse 8 says, by day the Lord commands his steadfast love, and at night his song is with me. Okay, that sounds pretty positive, right? God is there. I know that. If not feeling it exactly at the moment, I can think of when that's happened. I say a prayer to the God of my life. I say to God, my rock, why have you forgotten me? So there it's back again. I've seen the times God is with me, but that also then brings me back to, okay, God, I know you were with me then, and I'm not feeling it now. I'm feeling forgotten. And so the ride continues. The psalm ends with the same idea. Why are you cast down, O my soul? Why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God. He wants to get back there. He knows it's possible. He knows he's seen it. Psalm 43, verse 2. For you are the God in whom I take refuge. You're the one I look to. Why have you rejected me? That's what he's feeling right now. He goes on and then he ends this psalm. He ends these two that go together with that same thought. Why are you cast down, O my soul? Why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God. Was that not a roller coaster? Do you see the ups and the downs? And I don't know, what do we call the difficult times? Is that the down or is that the going down? Whatever it is, you just see that back and forth, up and down. And hopefully just that should begin to help us in our situations because one, it shows us this is normal. Everyone goes through this. And sometimes, for a couple reasons. Either one, we think, no one's ever gone through what I've gone through. And we know that's not true in one part of our mind, but at the time, that's what we're feeling, what we're hearing. And this reminds us, no, people have gone through difficult times, just as difficult as us. And maybe as a believer, we're also tempted to feel guilty. It's like, why am I being so stressed out by this? Why is it affecting me so much? I must be a terrible Christian, must not have any faith at all. I'm like, no. You look at this, you look at other Psalms by David, you look at other places in the Old Testament and the New, and you see people just shaken to their core at times. The things that happen to them desperately, definitely affect them in real tangible ways. That is normal. That is normal. And it also means it's to be expected. If I'm not there now, well, it means I'm, waiting in line for the coaster. Or if our whole life is a coaster, I'm on it and at the station. Whatever it is, I can expect it to start going back up, and I sense something's coming, and then that big downswing. It is going to happen. Well, we don't want to be in this place. God doesn't want us to stay in this place. So what do? Well, there's a general answer, and then we're going to look at two specific things that help us get to this place next time. But the general answer is that refrain that happens 3 times. That should be a clue. It's pretty important. Look at verse 11 of Psalm 42. Why are you cast down, O my soul? Why are you in turmoil within me? Again, he knows why, but it's this idea is I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't stay here. It's normal for things to affect me, but I don't want to stay in this place, and I don't have to. Why? Because I have hope in God, and he tells himself, get back to that place of focusing on the hope. It's not that the hope isn't there. It's just got pushed out by other things. Get back to that place. I shall again praise him. That note of confidence, I will get to a place again where I'm praising God for who he is and what he's done. Because I know I've seen it. God is in control and he loves me. I've seen that over and over. That's the God. That's the reason I can have hope. My salvation and my God, that's who he is. And so this psalm, it tells us, don't feel like you're suffering something no one else has experienced. Don't feel guilty that your faith is terrible because it affects you the way it does. But take the time, once the first wave hits or whatever it is, step back and say, all right, it hit me, it affected me, but I don't want to stay here, and I don't have to because I have hope in God.